Geoffrey here. In this video, I'm going to show you the one toxic pattern of thinking that I see a lot of people making and often subconsciously making when they're trying to save the relationship or rebuild the relationship from the ground up. And be sure to stay till the very end here because, again, like most of my videos, this is an aspect that I think very rarely gets discussed in other videos by other experts and coaches and so on, but it's such a crucial aspect to understand if you are really trying to not only save your relationship, but also ensure that whatever you do is not just a short-term ploy to get your partner back, but you're actually poised to not only get your partner back, but also set yourself up for a successful relationship for the long haul for many years and decades to come. And if you're new to this channel, my name is Geoffrey and I've dedicated my life's purpose to helping you men in your long-term relationship or in marriages with the right skills, with the right mindset to be able to design a thriving relationship for yourself. So if you want more content on this topic, then subscribe to this channel and click the bell button as well to be notified when I post new videos every single week. Now, before we begin this video, I want to let you know also that the registration for the free masterclass on the 5 proven steps to rebuilding your relationship from the ground up is still open. So if you want in on the masterclass, be sure to stick around till the very end of this video for the announcement on how you can get in on that. So if you're currently on YouTube and watching my videos, there's a good bet that this is kind of how your approach is looking like when it comes to saving your relationship right now. So you are watching a ton of videos, hopefully from myself, but it's okay if you're watching videos from other people too, but you're watching a ton of YouTube videos here. And you're also taking a lot of the tactical things, a lot of the things to say, things to do that I or a lot of other YouTubers are telling you to do. But you're not really in full understanding of the why and the how behind how and why to execute the things that these experts are telling you to do. But because they're YouTubers, because they have a lot of followers, whatever it is, we trust them. We trust these experts to say, okay, if you're telling me to play no contact, for example, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do no contact. So you make your list of all the 50, maybe sometimes 100, 200 things that you can try, that you can do. And you try all of them. You try everything you can to make sure that you are getting the outcome you want, which is getting your partner back. And you're hoping basically that of the 50 things, the 100 things that you've tried, one will stick. But if this is your approach, one is going to be extremely hard for you to ever reconcile in a relationship. And even if you were to get your partner back, I can tell you that even if you get your partner back, you're still going to feel quite miserable. And let me tell you why. I want to tell you a bit about my stories too, again. So when I first started this business, I went about the same approach in trying to build my own knowledge and trying to basically get my business off the ground. I would watch a bunch of YouTube videos and listen to a lot of experts. I would take down religiously all the notes that I needed to take on what I need to implement, what I need to change about my business from all these experts. And I had my list of 10, 50, and even up to 100 different tactics, different things to try at the end of the day. And I was trying all these things at once. I was trying all the 5 things, the 50 things all at once, again, hoping that one of those things would stick. And guess what? Some things did stick. But when I got the outcome that I wanted, when my business finally took off, I realized that I had no idea what stuck or what didn't stick. Because I tried so many things at once that I didn't know which of the 50 things I tried really led to my success and which ones really didn't work, which ones really didn't matter. I had no idea. And so now I had a business that was off the ground, but I had no idea how I got there, what process I took to get there, and what specific things I can do to continue to replicate my success. So what happened was I ended up continuing doing all 50 things. I made myself feel overwhelmed, and eventually my business didn't go too well. I couldn't sustain my business because I was feeling overwhelmed, and a lot of the things that I was doing didn't actually matter. But I didn't know that because I was trying too many things at once. And when I was trying to rebuild my own relationship, I did the same thing. I watched a lot of YouTube videos, I took down a bunch of notes, and I came up with 50 things, 50 tactics to try. But whenever I tried all these 50 tactics, yes, I got my partner back, but she didn't stay for long. Because honestly, maybe 1 or 2 of the 50 things I tried really mattered. So I ended up overwhelming myself and I had no idea how to replicate my success, how I got her to come back, how do I keep actually growing my relationship, growing our emotional connection and so on. I had no idea. When she came back, all I was thinking was panic, and I said, what next? I don't know what to do next. I didn't know if I could follow through on all the changes, on all the promises, all the improvements I made when I basically made the promise to her that I'll be better, for example. I couldn't understand how, if we were to face another challenge in the future, a really difficult challenge, how I can turn that negative into positive and reconcile our differences. I had no guarantee in my mind that all the toxic things that happened in the past wouldn't happen again. In my mind, I wanted to believe that it wouldn't happen again. I was using a lot of willpower, but if you really dug deep to the back of my mind, I didn't trust myself. I couldn't tell you it was 100%. Now here's my point. Right now, when you're trying to get your partner back, your definition of success could be, I want to get my partner back. I want to get my relationship back. I want to reattract my wife to my arms and stop vicious relationship again. That's your end goal. But here I'm telling you that even if you get that, you will realize that not all success is built the same. That actually when you get your partner back, that's actually not the end, it's just the beginning. And even when you get your partner back, you can still feel extremely miserable, which some of our students, when they come into the program, they're in the spot where they finally got their partner to come back, but they still feel anxiety and they still feel miserable. And here's why. There are 3 levels of success. And again, not all success is built the same. The first level, the lowest level of success, is what I call failure success. And failure success is really the worst kind of success that you want to be a part of. So what is failure success? Failure success is when you get an outcome. So for example, you get your partner to come back, to commit to you again, to decide to try again with you. But you really have no idea how you got her to do that. And you have no idea how you can replicate your success so you can make sure that you can keep her committed to you and not chase her away again. And again, the reason why people fall into this failure success is because they often are impatient. When they're trying to grow their business, when they're trying to grow their relationship, they try too many things at once. They try to influence the outcome and they only focus on the outcome. And because they're so obsessed about the outcome, they forget the importance of the process that it takes to actually get the outcome. And so like me, and most probably your approach is you try 50 things at once, 100 things at once, trying it one day at a time. Every single hour you're changing your approach, you're changing your mind. And so you're trying all these things, but you have no idea whether, for example, was it your no contact that really got her back? Was it when you tried to discuss her emotions? Was it when you tried to push through her resistance? Was it when you gave her those flowers? What is it exactly that you tried that changed her mind? You have no idea. So now you have your partner who changed her mind, but you had no idea how to replicate that success. And this is really the worst kinds of success, because when you get this kind of success, you're going to be sleeping with one eye open all the time. You're always going to be constantly wondering, can I sustain this? Is this going to come crumbling back down again? Is it going to go back to those old ways? And this paranoia is going to drive you insane. And this is why a lot of people can reconcile in their relationship, but they still feel anxious. They still feel terrible because they are falling prey to this trap of the failure success. And most likely, if you fall under this failure success, your outcome is probably going to backfire on you again, because when you are falling into this failure success, you are going to keep doing the 50 things that you've been doing. And you're going to overwhelm yourself. But you realize that a lot of the 50 things you did are actually quite toxic, are actually wrong, are actually not very productive. So not being able to replicate success, most likely you're going to start doing some things that actually sabotages your relationship. And your relationship might come crumbling back down again. But the worst part about this is that you won't understand why or how it came crumbling back down again. Very similar basically to how you felt in the beginning of your breakdown of your relationship when your partner finally told you, I don't want to be a part of this relationship anymore, and you were so dumbstruck. You were confused. You had no idea what was happening. So if you're falling into the failure success, not only can you not replicate your success, when your outcome comes crumbling back down again, you will have no idea at that point what went wrong and what you can do to remedy it anyway. That is the worst part about failure success, and this is the place you don't want to be in. The second level of success is what we call successful failure. And while it sounds like a failure, it's actually a better form of success, at least the way we see it in our program. And successful failure is when you don't get an outcome. So maybe in the short term, you can't re-invite your partner back to the relationship. But in the process, you learn a lot of different changes to your process, different ways to optimize your process, the way you talk, the way you think, the way you conduct yourself in a relationship. So while you didn't get the outcome, it was successful because you learn something from it. You learn a process from it. And I would honestly take this kind of success, the successful failure, any day rather than failure success. Because if you can get enough of the successful failures and you learn a lot more things to optimize your process, that is how you eventually get to the ultimate success, which is what we call successful success. And successful success is when you get the outcome you want. So you get your partner back, you re-attract her, but this time you know exactly how you got there. You know exactly what processes you took to get to re-attracting her again. And because you know exactly what process you took, you can replicate the success day in, day out. When you get successful success, you're never gonna wonder again if things will come crumbling back down again. You are never gonna need to sleep with one eye open because you can replicate that success day in, day out. And this relationship now is no longer an art for you. It's an exact science. And this is a spot where you can act from a position of confidence, when a position of power, poise, peace, security, and actually, this is the place where whatever you do will become a lot more genuine, a lot more powerful. And ironically, this is gonna be what's gonna cause you to re-attract your partner because of your confidence, your poise in your own changes, in your own actions and thinking as well. And I know a lot of you are saying right now and objecting to this, saying, of course, relationships can never be 100%. You can never know what happens in relationships. You can never know what happens in the future of a relationship. If you're saying this, that means that you're still in the bucket of failure success. That means that for you, creating a successful relationship, a good dynamic in a relationship is an art for you. But what differentiates people who are successful in any field in life, whether that's entrepreneurship, in relationships, in happiness, is that people who are successful in anything, if you ask successful business owners, for example, was it luck that you built your business? A lot of them will say no. And again, like Robert Kiyosaki said, if you took away all my money, if you took away all my resources, it would sting a bit, but it wouldn't bother me that much because I can always make money. I know exactly how to make money. I know exactly how to replicate the process of making money, of starting businesses from scratch. And in the relationship, the same thing applies. I want you to be able to aim higher and realize that within a relationship, when it comes to communicating with your partner on an emotional level, when it comes to resolving conflicts, when it comes to managing emotions, when it comes to building that emotional connection through the different challenges in your life, in your relationship, there is an exact science to it. There's a certain set of knowledge where you can access, where when you access this knowledge, you can really replicate your success day in and day out. And so again, that's what really differentiates people who are successful and people who are average. The average people, they're content with simply seeing life and success as an art, as a game of chance, as a game of luck. But people who are successful, they're the ones who seek to replicate their success day in, day out. They're the ones who seek to make whatever craft they're in, whether that's in relationships or in business, into something more replicable, more predictable. And they can replicate their success day in and day out. So don't fool yourself into thinking that, oh, of course, relationships can never be 100%. Don't justify your inability to replicate success and adapt. Because once you justify it, you will stop learning. Because this is totally possible because I've experienced it and a lot of my students have experienced it as well. So how do we actually get here? How do we actually attain successful success? The first thing you need to think about is I want you to change your motivation for why you're bettering yourself. So a lot of you right now, your motivation for bettering yourself is to get your partner back. If this is your focus, then you are really going to be very outcome oriented. And because you're going to be outcome oriented, you will not care about the process. You'll be too impatient. You'll be too unscientific in your approach, and you're going to try 50 things at once to try to get the outcome as quickly as possible. But if you change your motivation for bettering yourself as simply bettering yourself, this is a quest for you to really dig deep and really grow yourself, learn new mindsets, learn new frameworks, learn new ways of talking and connecting with other people, then that's going to open a lot more doors for you. It's going to be making you a lot more patient throughout the process, so you can be a lot more scientific with your process and not be tempted to try 50 things at once. You can be okay with trying one thing at a time and slowly growing, but surely growing yourself for your relationship. The second stage to this, once you change your motivation for why you're bettering yourself, I want you to understand what the right processes are that you need to master. And the processes here are really just 3 stages. There's frameworks, mindset, and what we call identity shifting. And I've discussed this a lot in many of my other videos, so if you're not familiar with this, then I want you to click the link in the description box below this video and really understand what these 3 tiers of development means and why they're so crucial in the context of your relationship as well. And the third thing you need to do is I want you to really change your perspective of what failure is and what success is. So most people, I think, define success based on their outcome. If you ask someone, for example, how was your day? The first thing they will say, I had a good day or I had a bad day because said outcome happened. And basically for most people, their motivations, their decisions, their desires, everything that they do depends on the outcome. If their outcome is good, they're going to feel motivated, they're going to double down on their process, and they're going to keep being happy. But if the outcome is bad, they're going to do the opposite. They're going to feel discouraged, they're going to stop the process, they're going to say, I feel burnt out, all these things. But people who are successful, they define their success based on their mastery of the process. Basically, their motivation, their desires, their decisions really stem from the desire to master the process, and that's it. So if they get a bad outcome, then they're going to chalk it up to learning, and they're going to say that's successful. It's successful failure. And if they get a good outcome, they're still going to go back and say, hey, we got a lot of work to do. There's a lot of processes to follow, and we're going to go back to the process. And this is how, if you look at entrepreneurs who have spent 10 years of their life building something, and the first 10 years, they're not seeing any rewards whatsoever, but they can still keep motivated. If you look at an athlete who has practiced for 20 years his craft, but never really getting a shot, but still being motivated, that's really it. Their motivation stems from the mastery of the process itself and not on the outcome. And the last thing here is I want you to really understand how to really scientifically master the process. And to scientifically master a process, you need 4 steps really. So first, you need to form what we call a hypothesis. This is basically you trying to learn the right process. And the best hypothesis, the best learning that you can make is not learnings on tactics. If you're trying to learn tactics, you're going to be very disappointed because in your relationship, you're going to be faced with millions of conversations. There's no way you could learn all the tactics to be able to address all those millions of conversations. What you want to learn instead are principles. So first step here is learning the principles. Once you learn the principles, you have to implement it. And you have to implement one thing at a time. So a lot of people, when they implement something, they're implementing something for an hour. They implement something once and then they give up. You have to implement something for enough time to where you can understand what is the actual challenge or what is not working with your process. And scientifically implementing something like this is something that we can help you in the program for sure. And once you implement something, I want you to have a process where you can analyze and optimize your process properly. And what it means to really scientifically master your process is you need to be able to think like a scientist a bit, where you are learning one thing at a time, you are testing one thing at a time, and you are finding iterations and tweaks on one thing at a time. You shouldn't be trying 50 things at a time. Now, of course, there's more to it than these 4, and what it means to, for example, scientifically grow your processes. It's probably too much to discuss in this one video. But if you can successfully do all 4 things here, you're going to be in a better state of mind to where you are slowly but surely setting your mind up to learn the processes a bit better. And when you really get good at the process, the outcome will naturally take care of itself. But when you have mastered the process and when the outcome comes, you know exactly what processes you took to get to that outcome. And that's how you get successful success, which is ultimately where you want to go. So of course, there's more to it than this than what can be discussed in this one YouTube video. So if you want to learn more about this, understand that this is something that all our students have mastered. Not only understanding what the processes are, but also understanding the scientific way of building up your process so you can eventually get to a point where you can experience successful success. And if you ask myself or all my students right now, their success in their relationship is an exact science. It's not an art, it's not a game of chance, it's not a game of if, it's an exact science. So if this is the place you want to get to successful success, then I want you to join me in my free masterclass on the 5 proven steps to rebuilding your relationship from the ground up. In this masterclass, I'll show you the exact process that I show all my students in how they iterate their process, what kind of process they need to master so that they can reconcile in their relationship and reconcile in a surefire way through successful success. And at the end of this masterclass, if you want to join the Relationships Rebel program, you will have the opportunity to apply for the program as well at the end of this masterclass. So if this is something that interests you, the masterclass or the program, then I want you to click the link above my head or also down below in the comments below or in the description box below this video as well. And if you're looking for a guide that can help you lead conversations better, conversations that never really lead to arguments and allows you to resolve conflicts better and allows for deeper level of understanding, then I want you to download the guide I have for you above my head or also down below this video as well. And lastly, if you want to join a community where you can join it, you can post your questions, and you can get good support from myself or other members of the community, then I want you to join my free Facebook group down below this video as well. In the meantime, do leave a comment below on what you thought was most insightful, most eye-opening in this video. I'd love to hear from you. And if you like this video, if you found it to be valuable, then click the like button and subscribe to this channel for more content like this one. From now, I'll leave you with these 2 other videos on more content that allows you to gain the right mindsets and the right frameworks to be able to design a thriving relationship. In the meantime, I will see you in the next video.